Maxwell,
the way that Puig runs the bases?
I mean, I think it's fine. He's energetic. He brings liveliness to the stadium, and I love it. I'm glad he's not 0 for 11 anymore.
Maxwell, what's it been like for you? I mean, you were fighting for the quarterback job in fall camp. Then, you didn't win it, but then you played well, and then you're the #1 quarterback again, and then it's back to Jalen. Now Jalen's hurt, you're back to #1 again. What's that roller coaster been like for you?
I don't really think too much about all that stuff. I just want to keep getting better every day. Probably not playing up to my full potential, but just got to pick it up, keep working hard every day, just do what coach says, and just keep getting better.
What do you need to do to get up to your full potential?
Just start not making silly mistakes. Like I accidentally put my hand down on one when I was making sure that everybody was set, and then the ball was snapped and it hit me in the face or whatever, and we fumbled it, and that's just a lost down when we could obviously move the ball. But just little things like that, and just making sure I make every throw. Small margin for error with the teams we play, so just gotta be perfect, really.
Neil said maybe your arm strength wasn't what it was 4 years ago, but it's plenty still, and that he's talked to you about if you put your lower body into it, if you're using your lower body more, then you get all the velocity you need. How big a focus has that been, and will it be for you?
It's been a focus to just make sure I keep a good base and use my lower body and throw the ball, and like he said, and like I know I can make any throw on the field, and if I have to launch the ball 60 yards, for a go route, I can do that too. Just making sure I'm more consistent and keeping a good base and throwing balls where guys can catch and, get some yards after.
Do you know what he means, what that feels like when you're doing it the way he's talking about?
Yeah, I definitely do, and I just got to do it, make sure I'm doing it all the time and not just here and there.
You got taken down quite a few times Saturday. Is that pressure anything different than what you normally expected, or?
Not really. Saw pressure from Florida, saw pressure from Louisville. That's just how it is when you play, top defenses in the country. You're going to have pressure, and you just got to deal with it. You got to make throws, and that's what they did. Yeah.
Is there a rhythm thing that comes into play when maybe you take a sack that you didn't necessarily have to take because you haven't been out there for all those snaps? You haven't sort of gotten into a rhythm with your guys, timing-wise, and all of this.
I think really timing is built off the field, so you just got to come in ready. And can't let anything throw you off, because if a sack throws you off, and they already got you beat right there. So I don't think that has too much of a factor in timing and all that. But getting sacked usually doesn't feel too good. But maybe that's the thing that can throw off the most.
Has that been an emphasis for you to getting out a little quicker though?
Get it out quicker. Yeah, that's kind of how we've been playing recently, just getting the ball out quicker. I've always known that in this league, you got to get the ball out quick. Even at the next level, it doesn't really matter. They got to get the ball in your hands as quick as possible.
Do you ever have it in your mind, like, if I can lead them to a win at Mississippi State and play really well, like, then it's a competition again? It's my, that maybe I get to keep the job. Is that something you think about?
No, not really. I just think about let's actually win a game. Doesn't matter who it is, but it might be me this week, and I'm just going to go play the best of my ability and just keep it rolling, and hopefully we can come out with a win against a very good Mississippi State team.
How much are you guys looking at it as though it's the halfway point? You've got some rest before you play Mississippi State. That's kind of like a fresh start for you going into the second half of the season.
What was the question?
As an offense, obviously you haven't had the success you wanted to have, but now you've got some time off before you start the second half of the season. Are you looking at it as a fresh start?
Yeah, definitely. Got to put the first 6 games behind us. This is the second half, the halfway point, like you said. And we got some time to recuperate any kind of banged up issues we have with anybody, any bumps and bruises we may have. But yeah, we've got 2 really good days of practice, and we just need to keep getting better each day.
Max, assuming Jalen can't go, they've got to get somebody ready to back you up. What have you seen from Patrick and Reese and just their development this fall?
They've both been doing well. I think the coaches might have their mind made up, but that's obviously something you can talk to Coach Stoops and Coach Brown about.
They'll be real forthcoming, I'm sure, with
Yeah.
us.
How is your shoulder? How does it feel?
My shoulder, it feels fine. Obviously I heard it against Louisville, and it's obviously never got back to like 100, but it feels fine. I'm able to make all the throws, like I said, and just got to get my lower body into it and just make throws. It's not an excuse by any means.
Brown was talking about how good the running game's been, kind of surprised him this season. How much easier does it make your job knowing that you've got 2 running backs that can carry the load?
It makes it a lot easier. It puts more possibly put more guys in the box and open some things up in the passing game. But for that to, you know, be a factor to other teams, we got to be better in the passing game, and that, you know, that starts with me, and obviously our receivers got to get better. But that's just all of us, tight ends, receivers, myself, whoever's at quarterback. We just got to be better and you know, open up the running game even more.
Is your backup run with Billups or Rolls?
I think we'll close it off. Thank you very much.